Hey, hi, hello, how are you guys? It's good to see you and it's good to be seen by you. Welcome, one and all, to the program. I am the one and only Bill Sylvie, aka the Dungeon Delver, coming to you live, loud, and clear from an undisclosed location somewhere in the swamps of Central Florida. And gosh, I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad I'm here. Um, well, let's see. Just going down the list. Great old ones: St. Cuthbert, Stephen Avery, Damien, Recon, Shellback Bow, who is apparently in Ohio, if that's to go, but it's Ohio, my friend, but that's okay. Doc Flamingo, Kyle Johnson, unregistered Hypercam 2. And let's see. I think I already said, yes, I did. Gonzalo, good to see you. Brandon Keene, hello, hello. So, welcome everybody. Welcome. Yes, I'm aware of that. It's a joke. It's a joke, Shellback. Anyway, welcome guys. Welcome to the show. And if you're wondering why I'm wearing a hoodie over a sweatshirt, although you can't see that, is it's a little chilly. It is a little chilly tonight. St. Cuthbert says, interesting tall narrow screen size tonight. Also not seeing comments on iPad. So if you're mobile, you can be watching us on the mobile. So let me tell you what happened. Why on cell phone format? There are actually two views. You can watch this on cell phone format. That is provided by StreamYard. That is not something that that I am setting, but that is in fact a StreamYard thing. So uh you've got two possible ways to watch the stream. I shared out the to the Discord. I shared out. If you guys want to get over on and watch it on desktop mode, let me do this for you. Let me hop up over here, and I will get this link and I will share it with you guys out there if you would prefer to be watching not on mobile format. Again, it's an option that they allow with StreamYard, and I thought, hey, I'll go ahead and turn it on. It appears to be confusing some people, and I apologize for that. That was not my intent. My intent was to open up the format to everyone. So here you go. There you go. But anyhow, the Elven Thin Blade and the Elven Small Sword. Yes, that's me. 53 degrees. Am I going to be all right? I'll live. Captain Finity, Dungeon Minister, how are you? Yeah, it depends on which YouTube link you clicked, because it generates a vertical format one and a horizontal format one. But anyway, hoist a glass to yourself, folks. We made it to Wednesday. I am drinking a delicious Guinness tonight. I'm enjoying it. I remember one year, very, very, very unusual thing. I had a niece come to Florida from Anchorage. She was up in Anchorage with her then husband, and she left Anchorage where it was 40 degrees. When she got to Orlando, it was 37. When she landed in Orlando, Florida, it was 37. It was 3 degrees colder in Orlando, Florida than it was in Anchorage, Alaska in the winter, which was just bonkers. Black and tan, yes, many times. But black and tans, I am fond of putting it. I don't know if I can say this on YouTube without getting slammed. But take a shot full of Bailey's and just drop it in the bottom of your pint glass and enjoy it that way. That's very good. There's a word for it. It's an Irish automotive term. Let's see. Couple of questions, suggestions for Crom. Is there a way to make a paladin lose their paladinhood or swap proficiencies if a player changes their minds? No, you cannot swap proficiencies just like you can't in AD&D. And as far as losing paladinhood, what I recommend you do is just stop paying attention to the paladin abilities as they go up on the sheet. Yeah, that's instant Charlie. That's probably a good way to say it. You don't imagine I'd get to no, I actually seek out a lot of stout. I am rather fond of left-hand milk stout. That is very good. Beamish is quite tasty. Yeah, I like a good stout. I do like a good stout. Vince Snetterton, good to see you. I got to be careful. I can't really see where I'm putting my glass, and I just came dangerously close to setting it half on the edge and half on the table. Need a shot of the Jameson, then the Guinness, then drop it in the Baileys. Yeah, I'm not a fan of brown drinks. I don't. People are like, oh, you just need to find a good scotch. You just need to find a good whiskey. No, I don't. They just all taste like iodine to me. About the only one I like, and that is with copious amounts of Coca-Cola mixed with it, is Jack Daniels. Yes, I have tried Dragon's Milk Stout. I'm going to be honest with you, Damien. I'm not overly fond of it. Maybe the particular make of Dragon Milk, it was bourbon barrel aged, and all I could taste with that was that acetinic bourbon flavor, which wasn't good. It tasted like wood alcohol, or like wood alcohol, I would imagine. So I'm sorry. Well, St. Cuthbert, you can come on over to YouTube and watch landscape mode. I'm thinking I'm gonna ditch phone mode. I don't think I'm gonna let it do that anymore. I'm gonna turn Mars off and just not do it, because this is throwing people for a loop. A nerd's nerd, good to see you. But you know what? I will accommodate. I will put this right here, even though, it is kind of now a closed thing. But there you go. There's the OD&D set for you guys. As far as IPAs go, I can't. I cannot drink IPAs. I do not like the taste. But anyway, moving on to other things. What precisely is a Wastrel, and why are we Wednesdays for it? Well, it's alliteration, a nerd's nerd, and a Wastrel is, just a ne'er-do-well, a person who goes out and does no good. Still want to see the cool potential prize, of course. But moving right along, I want to say something real quick here. I have been doing 3 YouTube shorts a day. If you've been seeing like notifications for 1 or 2, or maybe you've been seeing them, but not every day. If you go to my channel and click the shorts tab and look there, I have been doing 3 a day for over a week now. Or maybe it's been a week now. I've got a lot of short videos up there. And by short, I mean a minute or less. I know some people will do shorts that last like 4 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever. Mine are really short. Thank you, Brandon Keene. Let me just tell you guys something. The format is what does it for me. Okay, the format is what does it for me. I have gained more subscriptions in the last week than I have gotten in the 3 previous months. I have had no down subscription days where, like, there was a day in mid-October, yeah, just lost 6 subs, and that wasn't after a big peak. It wasn't like, oh, 25 today, oh, but it's down to, no, it was just like the previous day I had gained like 2, and then the next day I lost 6. Omega Gambit, go here. Right there. Right there. Follow that link I just pasted up. But here's the thing about the shorts. I'm not producing easy engagement slop. I actually want to bring you guys content. There's a lot of bite-sized bits of trivia where I was like, there's things that I assumed that I assumed everybody knew. Well, of course, everybody knows that, Dave McGarry invented Dungeon, and it was based on actual Dungeon maps from when Dave Arneson was refereeing them in his fantasy campaign. No, you didn't know? Okay. So I have squeezed those down into little videos with relevant pictures and audio. It's stuff that doesn't merit an hours of live discussion. But here's the thing. I will never produce slop. Okay. If something happened tomorrow and my voice just gave out, sorry, Bill, they got to take your vocal cords out or whatever. I would still produce content. I've got enough recordings of my voice. I've got an AI 11 Labs AI voice synthesis tool account that I could at least produce shorts. But I will not just produce engagement slop. Okay. I will still bring you guys factual content. I will not go to Chat GPT, say, give me 12 lines of dialogue, start it with, did you know, say some stuff about D&D, and then turn around and copy and paste that into 11 Labs and have a voice say it, and then use the AI tools in Filmora to generate this stuff. Maybe that's not working smart. Maybe that's working hard. Because doing 3 videos is about an hour's worth of work, give or take. Because I have to film stuff, I have to shoot stuff. Like the audio, when you hear it, you watch the live streams and you watch the news videos that I do. I have more pauses than a Pinter play. Okay. I sit down and I listen to a 90-second video and I can shave it down to like 50 seconds because pauses like that one just there, or when I stop to take a breath or something like that, I go into Filmora's audio tool and I just slice all those out. And I just click things down. And I make a truly short video where it makes sense, right? I don't do like 2.5 times. That drives me up the wall. I'll watch some videos, and they'll say, like, did you know the Dungeon was invented by Dave McGarry and it was originally presented to Gary Gygax and he loved it so much that TSR started printing it? Because whoever's doing the voice has sped the audio up to 2.5 seconds. That's kind of unusable to me, and that leans into slop, in my opinion. I'm sorry if you're one of the tech YouTubers who does shorts about AMD versus NVIDIA and you try and put 10 minutes of info into a 90-second video. I don't I'm not going to do that either. So for everyone who has subscribed, thank you so much for subscribing. If the shorts are what brought you here. Now, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about the guac, because this is kind of important. But first, I want to address some of your comments before we go on further, because Gonzalo's got an interesting statement here. Was there in any way bad blood between Gary and Dave that we could ruin the vibe talking about? I see what you did there. Instant Charlie says, been learning a bit from the shorts, put pop lollies and belly buttons. Good. I think you'll like it. Miss Kills Sperling was quite the linguist. Kayla says, I'm strongly against the use of AI as a matter of principle, but I respect that I'm the one of the few using it who manages to maintain a single eye. I'm just saying, I don't, honey. I don't use AI. That's actually my voice. Did you know that Bill Sylvie, aka the Dungeon Delver, produces YouTube shorts of about a minute to a minute and 10 seconds on trivia matters regarding Dungeons and Dragons, and does not AI clone his voice? He actually does them himself. So that's actually not, that's actually me. That's actually me. Orbital Air, good to see you. There's Grimhammer. Did I mention that there was a Mrs. D.R. Eider who was asking about you? She wanted your phone number, and she asked most peculiar question. She asked me to ask you how durable, how pliant your pelvis and your abdomen were, and are you looking to settle down and raise a family? Anyway, I've done that joke before. Could I explain the gods of the world of Greyhawk? There's lots of them. There's lots and lots and lots of them. I could use Arnold's voice for my shorts. Hey, don't bullshit me. Get down. The thumbnails on the streams. Okay, that is a good point. That is a good point. The wall texture, I just found that somewhere out there. But as far as like I assembled all those by hands. Now, if you go to the Newsy videos, I will grab an AI image and stick it on the Newsy videos if I need to. Like when Hasbro stocks were imploding, you know, I was like, a picture of a wizard in despair as financial stocks collapse around him. You know, I'd get stuff like that. Dying Breed, good to see you. But the thumbnails on the streams, generally speaking, I make by hand. I use Filmora and its title card tool. I just produce a one-frame animation. I position the text like I want it. I position the thumbnails like I want them. So I actually do make those by hand. But some of the images I have used in thumbnails have been AI generated. And I've said this before. There are times when I have to turn a video around like that. I cannot put the onus on an art. Like look, there's breaking news out of Wizards of the Coast. I need to make a video about that. You have 5 minutes to create a cartoon wizard turning his pockets out and shrugging with a frown, looking at the camera. I want it Disney-fied. I want this kind of a background. Go. But you have 5 minutes because I'm doing the video right now. I'm editing the video right now. I can't, like, maybe there are artists who could turn that around that fast, but I couldn't afford them. I could not afford them. And to be honest, when we're talking about a thumbnail, like I would never sell a book of Delver's Dungeon thumbnails. Okay. Bob Ross could do it in 30, certainly. Have I created a player character that I like better than all the others? Oh, hey, Savo. How are you? Good to see you. Well, I created an Alpine Elf NPC. I'm just kidding. Although I think I did give you a stat sheet that I did up for 1 AD&D for Fifle. I'm sure I have created a character in AD&D that I just loved more than anything. But I never get to play them because nobody DMs AD&D for me. So yes, probably, but I can't remember which one they were. So it's just Photoshop. No. You didn't mischaracterize. Kayla, you did not mischaracterize. Yeah, great old ones, you and me both. Now I have a superhero character that is very memorable, Steel. He is called Steel. He's basically a Colossus from the X-Men ripoff. But yeah, I made him way back in 1989, and he has participated in so many Hero System games. Savo, so many Hero System games. The one thing that I am gonna say about corpos and AI and that sort of thing is I get it that AI requires a lot of compute power. I should say generative chat because that's what it is. Once upon a time, the company called NVIDIA used to make video cards. They had all ranges of video cards. You know, were you on a budget? What was GTX 260? Because the 285s just rolled out and those things sounded like jet engines, and you could play you could play Grand Theft Auto 4 with a pair of SLI 768 meg 260s, and it would just fly at like silky smooth 50 frames a second. Those those time, but you're like, yeah, but I can get the 260 instead of the 285. All right. Or the 400s come along. Well, I can GT 450 instead of a GTX 460 or a 480. There were ranges, god damn it. Now, forget about it. If you don't want to buy a data center ready RTX 6090, NVIDIA doesn't want anything to do with you. They don't care that as a gamer, you have to pay $1,500 for a brand new video card. They don't give a shit. The days of the high-end mid-range cards where you can go out and pay $199 and come home with a GPU that'll give you everything you want at 1080. Yeah, no, those are gone. That's what pisses me off about AI. We had a little tiny window between the end of human malware and all of its part shortages and the beginning of AI when prices had cooled off enough that you could pick stuff up. There is a reason the GTX 1080 Ti's still cost nearly $200 on eBay. Go look at the performance stats. Aside from ray tracing, they perform as well as low-end 3000s. But we'll never get that. The 10 series was such a screw up on the part of NVIDIA. The only thing they can do is wait for those GPUs to die and kill support for them as quickly as they can to try and get you back on that teat. And don't preach to me about ATI. ATI sucks. Every time AMD has gotten a little bit of an edge on Team Green and Team Blue, they completely fumble it away with some screw up. And ATI, AMD have never mastered driver support, ever. Their drivers going all the way back to the Radeon 9000 series have been complete ass. Sorry. Rant off. Rant off. Nameless Warrior, good to see you. Let's talk D&D. We're just going to talk D&D. Damien, going all the way back. I have run a Greyhawk Gamma World Hybrid as a Christmas game. I run special Christmas games for my Monday night groups where I incorporate Christmas themes in separate. Think of it like a Marvel annual where what happens in the annual doesn't really impact the main story arcs. It can be fun, like Scavenger Hunt, X-Men Annual 6, I think. Scavenger Hunt with the pop-upians was just a silly X-Men annual, and I loved it. And that's what I do during the holidays. So I had my group, which is in Greyhawk, have to go into Gamma World and bring a Merry Christmas to some survivors in Gamma World. So I have done that. It's a lot of fun. St. Cuthbert asks, which AD&D magic items do I believe are underrated and not appreciated as much as they should be? Ring of Fire Resistance. Ring of Fire Resistance is a good one. Ring of Spell Storing. Most people think, hey, give the Ring of Spell Storing to the magic user. The magic user can then have extra spell slots. Wrong. Give the Ring of Spell Storing to the cleric. Give the Ring of Spell Storing to the fighter, to the thief. That's what you ought to be doing with the Ring of Spell Storing. Expanding the abilities of non-spellcasting classes. Ring of Spell Storing. That's your go-to. Rope of Climbing. Rope of Climbing can quite literally be a lifesaver. What else? What's another good one? Now, this is a big one, but my Monday night group has used this thing to absolute perfection. Daern's Instant Fortress. A 3-story square tower with matchy-located battlements on top. They haven't had to pay for an inn stay in a long time, and they haven't had to worry about nighttime wandering monster checks for a long time. Arrow of Direction is a good one. Arrow of Direction is a good one. Scrolls should never be underappreciated, particularly when you have a thief of high enough level to read and utilize them. The thief suddenly deciding to cast Wish can be a very, very hilarious thing. No, it's neutral. Just think of it like wax. I mean, I would think it would burn, but not with any greater efficiency. Like you're not going to make oil with it, you know? That's what I'm talking about, Damien. Hadouken! Rope of Entanglement's another good one. Does a bonus associated with a Ring of Defense? No, but a Ring of Protection can help you out in certain situations depending on how you apply it. I'm not sorry for that. Yes, Kayla, that is correct. Thieves do have a chance of misunderstanding the scroll. But still, Still. There's something I don't want to go too much into this. I'm not even going to share the link right now. All bards should have a ring of protection seared into their flesh. Ouch. Bards get spellcasting, but I'm gonna rant about bards in just a minute, but I wanna mention this. There is yet another attack on appreciators of old D&D out there. I was talking with Yang about this. We're gonna go full ham on it when we do the Nerd Council of Doom later this month. Hey, good to see you. Wonderful to see you, Jeremy. How are you, my friend? Much love, brother. No, the rant's coming, great old ones. But anyway, yeah, so this attack came from a news website. Oh, you're on an airplane. Well, you're very welcome, sir. You're very welcome. God bless you. Safe travels, my friend. I hope the next time you're down in Florida, you and I can get together and raise a pint. Okay. Go ask that lovely stewardess, the brunette. You know the one I'm talking about. Yes, you see her. Ask her for a Guinness and toast with me. And if she doesn't have Guinness, a Bailey's. But anyway, yes, an author, a journalist has decided to launch another polemic about us mean old people who still love classic D&D. Returned her to her full height and upright position. Dang it. That is a legitimate Guinness glass. That's right, Dying Breed. Let me see. Let's go over to Cam 3. Can I get that in shot? Yes, that is a legitimate Guinness glass. I used to acquire these from pubs, and then I got married and my wife made me stop stealing their glassware. My last one that I pilfered from Fiddler's Green broke in the dishwasher a couple of years ago. I was heartbroken. I was devastated. But anyway, yes, another attack, another polemic about classic D&D, and I am going knives out on it. Dungeon Minister may literally want to not be on that show for the things I'm going to say. I'm going to use a lot of foul language. A lot of foul language. It makes me angry. But anyway, so bards, yes, bards. I love first edition AD&D bards. I love bards for first edition AD&D. First edition AD&D bards were the best bards. First edition AD&D bards must have 15s in a whole lot of stats. They must be able to dual class. They start out as fighters, which means they get tremendous amounts of stuff that come with that. If they start off with an 18 strength, that stays with them. Oh, no, it doesn't make me angry. AD&D bards don't make me angry at all. Then they become thieves. And then they thief for as long as they fought. Now, at this point, on average, let's say they went to 7th level fighter and to 7th level thief. At this point, on average, assuming no con bonus, they have 56 hit points. Then they become a bard. Bob Jester, good to see you. This is my virtual bro hug for Bob Jester. Just give him a pound on the opposite shoulder there. How's it going, man? Good to see you. Then they become bards, where they keep their D6. They get druid spells. They get a percentage chance to charm large groups. They get a percentage chance to just know what a magic item is. Now, granted, they have to stay in thief arms and armor, but they have all the abilities of the thief. Imagine rolling 2 hit with a backstab, but you're wielding a 2-handed sword. I do not like instant bards. And I'm going to ask you guys from the bottom of my heart, somebody please throw me a super, because I'm about to use some foul language. I'm about to use some harsh words for modern day barding. J-Man 1911 always considered the first edition AD&D bards to be the equivalent of the OG Jedi Knight. I would lean a little bit more into the monk for that. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying that is an offensive thing. I just think it's gear. I think you go a little more monk with that. And that's right, St. Cuthbert, you still get a round of protection. And you still get let's see, you get around, you will always raise your party's 2 hit by +1. Think about that. I'm going to tell you guys a story about Jeremy McCaw 2000. You see him in the chat. Jeremy is a good man. Jeremy is thank you, Grimhammer. I will get right back to you in just a minute. I'm going to put that up there so I don't forget to start cussing. No, Jeremy is a good person. I could tell you guys some Jeremy stories, but I don't want to A, dox him, or B, embarrass him. But he played a bard from fighter to thief to bard to 8th level bard before he had to leave our Monday night group, and did it par excellence. But we were playing Lost Caverns of Sojkonth. It was about this time of year, I believe. Now, if you know anything about AD&D at all, you know that the interpretation of the clay golem is if you get hit by a clay golem, bad shit is going to go down. So, he's scouting ahead because he's using his thiefly bardic abilities and walks into the chamber of the clay golem. Jeremy, the player, not knowing that clay golems are unintelligent automata, has a poison cloak that the party had gotten from a random treasure pile and says, I'm going to give the poison cloak to the clay golem. The golem did not don the poison cloak, and it wouldn't have stopped it regardless. But holding it out and handing it to the clay golem bought him enough time on an initiative win to go invisible. I think you went invisible. I think you had a ring of invisibility, and sprint back to the party. Once out of range and sight of the clay golem, it was no longer a threat. It is one of the most badass displays of player acumen I have ever seen. They had it identified. So the thing with Bardic Identify, because it's a cloak, they can identify simply by looking at the item. They don't have to don it, wear it, wield it, consume it, read it. They can just glance at it and know what it is, and he has identified it. Now, for the swear jar, I fucking despise the joke that modern bards have become. Let's set aside just completely diluting the class. Critical Role, I like your hustle. You guys have made more money than I will ever see as long as I live for what you've done to Dungeons and Dragons, specifically the Bard, but not exclusively the Bard. Let me just say two words with great enthusiasm. Fuck you. You turned a classic character into a one-note joke. Horny Bard is a disease that corrupts Dungeons and Dragons because of you assholes. Even when I tell people that bards are not what they're presented as, Critical Role, people ask me if AD&D bards try to seduce the monster. Critical Role and its consequences have been a disaster for modern role-playing games. In this manifesto, I will bartender, I'm dry. But that's really the perfect libation right there. I made spinach dip today, folks. I made spinach dip and it was fantastic. That and some sausage cheese balls were dinner today. So good. So damn good. You guys don't know how good. If you think you know how good, you're wrong. Jason Thomas says, I will gladly play you next Tuesday for a good mood today. That's fine. Hawk, thank you. Thank you very much for the big 2-0 for the curse fund. Oh, and I forgot to mention Stephen Avery, member for 5 months. Thank you very much. Hey, did you guys know you can support the show on Patreon? You can support it via YouTube membership. Patreon information's going down right there if you want to. You can buy me a coffee. You can get a YouTube membership starting in January. Every $10 patron or YouTube member will receive a first edition advanced Dungeons and Dragons module written by yours truly in PDF format, but you will get it. See, Damien, this is a polite way to say they're a bunch of gooning freaks. Now, I'm all for somebody having a healthy sense of the erotique if they want, but honestly, Dino, I okay, maybe they didn't start the rot, but God knows they popularized it and they made it go faster. Cheesecake. Rob, thank you. That's perfect because I love cheesecake and I make good cheesecake. I gotta check something real quick, guys. But anyway, that's just it. You know what? You know what? You want to do something cool? You want to do something imaginative? You want to do something original in a D&D game? Don't talk to me about the horny bard. Talk to me about the bard who is dedicated, married, loves his wife, and has a family back home waiting on him. Thank you, Dying Breed. Thank you, brother. Safe travels, my friend. Oh, don't even get me started about the paladin. Don't even. I will get angry about paladins. I will get political about paladins. Kayla says, I don't think of myself I've ever made a particularly sexual character. Not in a just don't want to be a sexual when you're getting. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. The Mormon bard. Hey, this has nothing to do with that, and I'm not trying to dox you, but Kayla, are you over on X? I just asked because I'm mutuals with a Kayla over there, and I'm just not sure if you're the same Kayla. If you're not, that's fine. I'm just purely curious. Would Chris Pine be a 1E bard or a 5E bard? I haven't seen the movie yet. I actually kind of lean towards he's more of a 1E bard. Am I saying Paul's never? I'm not going to role play it out. Let me just say that. Two hairy 50-year-olds talking about bumping uglies. That's not going to, no. Okay, Kayla, that's fine. That's fine. I literally like that was just pure curiosity. The movie isn't worth it. Okay, see here's the thing about the movie. Let me tell you this. Um Heidi Gygax told me she saw it, she loved it, and she thought it's something her dad would have liked. She said she thought her dad would have gotten a kick out of it. That's pretty good endorsement. We'll replay it. Dare you enter my mystical forest? If you know, you know. My problem with Honor Among Thieves is that they didn't have like they didn't go get like TSR alumni. Like, why didn't you have Ernie and Heidi and Luke and Alex, and if they wanted to be there, Cindy and Elsie? Why didn't you have them like at the premiere and roll the red carpet out for them? Full eye contact. All right, tell me what you're doing. God, this is so fucking wrong. Oh my God. That's interesting, Adino. Their owl bear was yeah, I've seen their owl bear. It's not But I'm going to say on record that no owlbear is the right version, except for owlbears, the Chinosaur owlbears, the Jim Rosseloff owlbears, the David Sutherland owlbears. Even Errol Otis, everybody who drew a 1E owlbear was doing it right. Everybody since then has been doing it wrong. I saw like in third edition, and that Reaper actually kind of copied this for their owlbear. Just terrible, terrible owlbears. Jazz hand owlbears with like flat hoot owl faces, not the big hooking out beak. No, if you're gonna have pig-faced orcs, you're gonna have proper owl bears. Yes, exactly. Exactly, Kayla. I will say this. No, but I'm gonna have to go look that up now unregistered. I will say this. Kenzer and Co., who made the Mad Magazine version of first edition AD&D when they didn't have to, you nitwits, they actually created a great horned owl bear. I bought their mini because it was the closest thing to a Chinosaur owl bear. It is lovely. I have one. I adore it. I love the great horned owl bear. But I will say this, for $25, I will 3D print you a set of owl bears, the Chinosaur owl bear, the Monster Manual owl bear, and the OD&D owl bear. You can contact me at my email listed below if you'd like to purchase a set of 3D printed owl bears. I am looking to get at least 100 sets, guys. At least 100 sets. Whomst amongst us. If you know your college football, you will know the statement, the inquiry, whomst amongst. I have not seen BOVD. I will say this about one of the two sequel D&D movies from the early 2000s is that one of the characters talks about going to White Plume Mountain, which makes that a Greyhawk movie. Oh, Odd Scimitar. I'm sorry, buddy. Poor Odd Scimitar. There he was with his machete and his flashlight just hacking away. So Bill's live stream. It's in here somewhere. I'm sorry, Odd Scimitar. I'm sorry. Oh, my live sign. The sign is live. The batteries are not. But no, I have not seen BOVD. They mention, if they mention Ghost Tower of Inverness and they mention White Plume Mountain, it's a Greyhawk movie. I know they had Clerics of Obad High in one of them. Yeah, that kind of turned me off to going and tuning into it when they said, the producers were like, oh yeah, our whole point is to emasculate male characters in this. I was like, you know what? No, I don't want that. Nobody wants that except for the businessman who has $200 extra to burn every weekend. Sorry. That was horrible. Wrath of the Dragon God. Okay, yeah. Yeah. So Wrath of the Dragon God is technically a Greyhawk film. A Flatchet. Odd Scimitar. It would be a Flatchet. But then you're Odd Scimitar, so it would be a scimitar. That's a good theory, Bob Jester. I think that's a very good theory. Fall Darkness had the Verminoid Prestige class. Dragon God wasn't bad. Well, as I talked about in the short, guys, you got to remember Gary had sit down talks with Edgar Gross. Edgar Gross was a mover and a shaker as executive producers go at that time. John Boorman set to direct. Orson Welles to star. Guys, we were so close to a blockbuster D&D movie. The Rod of Seven Parts. Greyhawk was one of the worlds that the Quest would have taken the characters through. Such a tragedy. Thank you, as always, Bloom Brothers. I hope you were extremely unhappy on a few days. Good night, Rob. Take care. Good to see you. I'm going to say this about the 2000s D&D movies. I'm going to say this about them. If you look back on the collection of fantasy movies from like the Harryhausen Sword and Sandal stuff all the way up to like the 80s Deathstalker and Beastmaster and Deathmaster and Stalk Beaster and Beast Stalker, and the D&D movies are not that bad. I would rather watch any of the 3 D&D movies, Courtney Solomon or whoever, than Hawk the Slayer. Yeah, I said that. Come at me. Hawk the Slayer is an objectively bad movie. People who think Hawk the Slayer is good probably think Nelvana's A Cosmic Christmas is a holiday classic, and they make their family suffer through it every year. You're better for it, Gonzalo, having not seen A Cosmic Christmas. And if I could spend a day with my dearly departed parents again, I would have a lot of fun doing cool stuff with them. But I would make time to get in an apology for asking to watch A Cosmic Christmas when it came on TV. It is the most 70s cartoon. A Cosmic Christmas is what happens if you ask a generative AI to make a Ralph Bakshi movie about Christmas. No, Bob, because if you smack talk Lady Hawk, I'll come to your house and beat you with a wet noodle. Odd Scimitar way to you. Yeah, don't come up here, kid. It's hell up here. Polar Express reveals to us why Neanderthals were scared of corpses. There is nothing charming about Polar Express. There is nothing in Polar Express that is heartwarming. There is nothing in Polar Express that builds childish whimsy. Polar Express is something you sit and watch and go, ha, 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 ha. Okay, please don't hurt me. Yeah, no, you're not missing anything with Cosmic Christmas. Let me tell you what, I hadn't seen Cosmic Christmas in 50 years. We were watching Christmas movies one Christmas day, just going through them. Charlie Brown, Christmas Story, Elf, Grinch, all the good ones. Couple of versions of Miracle on 34th Street. Just all of the classics. The Rankin Bass movies. And I told the fam about Cosmic Christmas. And they were like, all right, we'll check that out. I could only find it on, I think it was streaming on like one of the bad, like, you guys may not remember this, but when you bought, oh, hello, Kayla. The Star Wars Holiday Special is also awful. Star Wars Holiday Special is redeemed by the appearance of um of Boba Fett, the animated section. Otherwise, it's terrible. Um, but yeah, so when you would get a Roku, and a Roku's a little computer. It's a little purpose-built computer that's for streaming. Smart TVs didn't have their own streaming capability built into them, and so you'd get this box. And we had a Roku. We had a bunch of Rokus because a one-time expenditure of $60 versus 100 plus bucks a month for cable packages, it just didn't make any sense. And streaming companies didn't. It was like $19.99 a month to have a decent streaming package. And so it was like on Crackle. No, it wasn't even on Crackle. It was on one of those free channels you get with your Roku. I was like, guys, a Cosmic Christmas, let's check this out. 7 minutes. The first couple of minutes, I was like, okay, this isn't so bad. 3 minutes in, I was like, it's going to get better. And the last 2 minutes, I just made myself watch it. And then I was like, this is not good. I'm sorry. I turned to my kids, my wife, and said, I'm sorry. And I turned it off. And that was it. A Cosmic Christmas is not good. Yeah, I don't like the fact that TVs are smart now. I don't like smart TVs. I want a flat pan. Look, if all you need is like a 32-inch TV, buy a computer monitor. Seriously, it'll be expensive, but buy a computer monitor, not a smart TV. Oh my God, I am so sick of being probulated by data harvesting companies. We had to get 2 smart TVs. We could not buy non-smart TVs. We found one and we're like, yay, it's not a smart TV. Woo, we'll just hook our Roku up to it. And Amazon was out of it. But our small TV in our bedroom is a smart set. And we tried for the, eventually what I did on that TV was I created a completely fake human being, false email address, fake YouTube accounts I'll never use, just so we could turn it on and set it up. Activating the probulator, that wasn't so bad. Ah! It was very elaborate, and I shouldn't have had to do it, but I did it. Kayla says they tried it, the progressive young queer, but I have no idea what I am people like me actually have a problem with. So correct things we never had it. Yeah, yeah. Let me tell you what. Since we're kind of talking in a holiday mood, and I'm just feeling kind of holiday-ish, one I can recommend if you guys haven't seen it, please check out An American Christmas Carol. An American Christmas Carol is pretty bold. And I'll tell you why. It stars Henry Winkler wearing a ton of old person makeup, and it works. It works. It came out like 1979. It's really good, and it's what it says on the tin. Michael Connor, good to see you. You missed me drinking. Kayla, it's focus groups that cared about it. It's focus groups that threw a fit over it. Scrooged is phenomenal. Question, quick straw poll out in the audience, guys. Quick poll. I wish I, you know what? I'm gonna do this. I wanna try something here. I want to try something. Let's see if I can do a poll. Right here on camera, I'm about to do a poll. Donna Pulaski, absolutely beautiful. I'm sorry. So let me do this. Let me go over to the studio. Now I'll tell you this. I'll tell you guys this. Absolutely unquestionably, if you haven't seen it, my opinion, my 2 cents, the best rendition of A Christmas Carol that is not Muppets A Christmas Carol is the George C. Scott version of A Christmas Carol. Phenomenal. Absolutely great. So let me go. I'm going to try and get to live. So we're live here. So I think it's going to be this one. And I'm going to hop over in here. And let me mute myself so I don't get an echo plex. All right. Okay. Timestamps reactions. Okay. I'm trying new shit. Yeah. Engage with your audience. Okay. So, all right, let's see. How do we do this? Okay. Is okay. I have put a poll in the live chat for the first time ever. I put a poll in the live chat for the first time ever. And it is Groundhog Day a Christmas movie? Is Groundhog Day a Christmas movie? I want to know. I want to know what you guys think. What you say. What you say. It's a Groundhog Day movie, totally different. 58% say no. Wow. See, the coziness of the little bed and breakfast hotel where they're staying just says Christmas to me. I'm seeing a lot of no's. I guess I stand alone on that. I'm not gonna insist on it. I was just curious to know. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie? Absolutely. But you know what else a Die Hard movie you know what else is a Die Hard movie? Harry Potter. Think about it. Alan Rickman spends the whole movie chasing him around, trying to catch him. I'm just curious. It's fine. Guys, it's fine. I'm not dying on that hill or killing on that hill for that matter. It's okay if you guys don't think so. Does that make Voldemort the Krampus? Yeah, okay, so that's one that was a bit of a head scratcher to me. Not the Krampus. Was people saying like, "Oh, don't you love watching the Harry Potter movies over Christmas? They're such great Christmas movies." They're kind of the antithesis to it. They're moderate D&D movies. There's nothing to do with Christmas, nothing to do with the spirit of Christmas. The last we see of that horrid substitute teacher, she's dragged off by centaurs. We know what's going to happen to her. We know what's going to happen to her. Okay, they are Harry Potter movies. They're not fucking Christmas movies. Yes, I know. It's protecting her. Do you guys know I have only seen on Scimitar Gaming? Bunser, their kid's present. You. I just meant she was going to get beat up. They're going to punch her a lot. What were you thinking? My wife and kids took me to see the Harry Potter movie that had Johnny Depp as a bad guy in it. And they thought I was up on all Harry Potter lore. So we sit through the movie. I guess it's okay. And I guess the bad wizards wanted to stop World War II from happening or something. And so we come out of the theater and they're all chatting happily. And they're like, "Oh, what'd you think about this, this, and this?" And I was like, "So that was a Harry Potter movie, right? Like that was part of the Harry Potter." And you'd have thought I'd said I'd never been to a McDonald's. Or I didn't know what the wheel was. They're like, yeah. And I said, "Oh, okay, all right. I didn't know because I've never seen the Harry Potter movies." And they're like, "What?" See, yeah, I've never seen the Harry Potter movies. I've gone through the living room back and forth when it's been on, but I've never watched the Harry Potter movies. Never have. I mean, I know he's a little kid. He gets kidnapped by Brian Blessed understudy who says, "You're a wizard, Harry." And then he has to go, and Alan Rickman acts like he wants him dead, but he doesn't really want him dead. And then Ray Fiennes doesn't have a nose, and he goes around going, "I'll get you, Potter." And what's her name from Fight Club is a bad wizard too, and she's trying to kill him and everything else. And then you got Dumbledore who grabs him and says, "Did you put your name in the goblet, Harry?" And then there's one that has time travel, and they never ever mention that again or use it to stop all this bad shit from happening. And it ends with Harry sending his kids back off. Oh, and there's a Yahtzee guy who thinks that all Slither somethings are the best house because there's a hat involved. And that's what I know about Harry Potter, the end. But yeah, so we went to this movie and there was something about a guy with a pet twig that looked like Groot when he got blowed up. It was just a little thing. And some guy living in 1920s America that had to have his brain erased by rainfall or something. I mean, it was an okay fantasy movie, but it was like coming into a conversation, like walking into a comic store and a couple of guys are deep in debate about 1970s X-Men and they're already up to issue like 102, and you just stroll up and you're like, hey guys, what's going on? I want to listen in on this. And so that's that's it. Thank you, Kayla. I'm not from West Virginia though. JP got rockets. But anyway, so yeah, I know nothing about Harry Potter beyond that. See, okay, I had a coworker, real sweet girl, very nice girl, and she knows who I'm talking about. Chris, if you're out there and you ever catch us, hi. I hope you're well. I hope you're doing well, dear. But the first time I heard of Harry Potter, like I was working on her PC. I went over into the department. There's this big, thick Harry Potter book, and it was Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. And I was like, oh, what's that? And she's like, oh, it's Harry Potter. And she kind of explained it to me. And I was like, oh, that's cool. But understand this was like in 1997. But then I guess the Harry Potter movies started rolling out when? Around 2003, 2002? So it wasn't too long after that. It was right around the Lord of the Rings movies. But yeah, so that's all I have for Harry Potter. So the poll, 27 votes, 63%. I kind of think we're sort of at the nexus there. We're not going to get any more info. I'm going to go ahead and end the poll. And the end of the poll is 63% say Groundhog Day is not a Harry Potter movie. It's not a Christmas movie, and 37% say it is. Sorcerer's Stone came out in 99. Okay, fair enough. Getting a message here. Need to check it. Anyway, moving right along. Sorry, I had to respond to a message there. Camelot Gaming. Hello. Session just ended. Half a year delving into the Lich's underground lair. We finally beat him. Quite the triumphant. Excellent. Excellent. That's wonderful. Put Murray in a flannel shirt. It would be a Hallmark Christmas movie. Yes. Mrs. the Dungeon Delver introduced me to a very cute sort of time travel-ish movie last year or the year before called A Biltmore Christmas. That's a lot of fun. I like it. It's a Hallmark, but I like it. I should use a poll on Tuesday nights for TPKs. Here's the thing with that. I want money. I want money. Anyway, moving right my brain automatically sees snow and goes Christmas, which weirded me out because The Empire Strikes Back came out in the summer, of course. Coming home and thinking about, battles in the snow and trying to make snow speeders out of Legos and stuff like that. Let's see. Well, that's great, Camelot Gaming. That sounds awesome. So when you say Imperial Feast, do you mean like at the table, or are you having friends over to dine? Is The Empire Strikes Back a Christmas movie? No. Yes. I want money. That's what I want. Lots of money. By the way, we are currently sitting at 30 of you fine people watching over on YouTube, 134 have cruised by over on Twitter, and I appreciate you all, and I love you all to pieces. I see. That is cool. A Bumble. Yahoo! Didn't you know? Bumbles bounce. So, oh, vital supplies. Gunpowder and cornmeal and guitar strings and ham hocks. Trying to get your friends together. You wanted to show them AD&D, run it for the first time. Got a few friends excited, but I want more than one player, which you're having trouble with. Yeah, Kayla, I get it. I get it. I absolutely understand. Um, I ran. Hang on. Me too. Me too. I still have it. What a recording. I used to listen to that 8-track to the end and just let it loop and start again. When I was a kid, I thought I thought that that was the whole movie. It's only like 47 minutes long, but to my little 7-year-old self, don't you dare. No, sir. You'll note a lack of amyl containers dotting the room. I have not licked the side of my pint glass. And that's where we're going to leave that. But Kayla, so I ran Bob, I'm gonna share something here in just a minute. I ran an AD&D game. I have been running it now for 11 plus years. And the truth of the matter is there were nights when if the other player didn't show up, we didn't play that night. Oh, okay, this person can't make it. See you next week. And that was weeks, and we'd hammer on it. But eventually we got to where consistently we had 3 or 4 people. And then that became 4 or 5 people. And then that ballooned up. We topped out in the Monday night game with 15 people in our Monday night game. It's currently settled down to 11. The point behind what I'm saying, Kayla, is there are players out there. And I don't think it's going to take you a decade to build up a group as big as you want. There are plenty of players out there. I'm telling you. So let me ask you this, Kayla. Are you are you opposed to virtual tabletop? I did 24 at a con once, Kayla. Never again. Never again. But if you don't mind VTT, get on old school TTRPG Twitter. I'm serious. I'm serious. I never thought I'd say X, Twitter, call it whatever you will, was a good place to hang out. But the old school D&D community there is awesome. And I promise you, if you throw out a few cast a few nets, you can get a group together. Yeah, I mean, if you're playing with an actual table, yeah. But I got to do something here. I got to do something. I got to do something for Bob Jester right here, right now. All right, I'm looking for this. Oh, damn it. That's just this radio drama. Come on. All right, so this is the best I can do for you right now, Bob. And anyone else who wants to hear the story of Star Wars. Um, increase the speed to 2x. If you go and you listen to that, go to the speed setting and click it up to 2x. Personal reasons you wanted to. No, I understand. Believe me, I absolutely get. I absolutely get it. So I sincerely hope you can find a group. This I promise you. Get some dice, miniatures, homemade terrain. Go to a games day at your FLGS. Set up your table. Put out a sign. And I promise you will have a group of people playing D&D. Merp and Animus, are there any? The closest we can to the Gonzalo Lira's bar tab. Are you still out there, my friend? And the reason I ask about Merp for Gonzalo is Gonzalo plays a lot. Great Old Ones might still be out there too, but Gonzalo and Great Old Ones both play a lot of Rollmaster. And Rollmaster, I think, don't Merp and Rollmaster pretty much 1-to-1 in how they work. So that they could probably, you could use a Rollmaster class as a Merp. Okay, all right. So there you go. Yeah, Kayla, best thing. Advertise it with a store if they've got a website, Facebook page, or whatever, and just say, "Hey, I'm going to be down there Saturday from this time to this time. I'm going to be running some Dungeons and Dragons. Come one, come all." That's just my suggestion. See, that's the cool stuff we've got in this community. I could just reach out and grab Great Old Ones and say, "Come here, answer the question." Hey, let's do a thing here. Hang on a second. Let me try something real quick. I like doing this from time to time, and it's Wednesday night, and it's my night to do whatever the hell I want. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Great Old Ones, check your Discord messages. Check your Discord messages. We'll do both. See, here's the thing. You come in and you got a few people at the table already, even if it's only one or two friends, and you've already got a group going. And if people look in, you can say, "Hey, sit down. Let me tell you while we're waiting to see if this other thing concocts over here." I was at an FLGS down here, and I had set up a massive setup of Dwarven Forge miniatures at a player's handbook at places where people could sit and consult it. There's a guy about my age looking at the table. He's like, "Wow, this is really neat. Is this like for Warhammer?" And I said, "No, this is for Dungeons and Dragons." And he said, "Oh man, when I was a kid back in the 80s, I always wanted to play, but the other kids didn't really want to game with me, so I never got a chance to learn." I said, "Oh, cool. That's fine. Go in the store and buy some dice and come out and sit down and play." And he was like, "Oh, no, I never learned how to play." I said, "Look, go in the store, buy some dice from Todd and Anna, come out here, sit down and play." This dude who was in his 40s had never gotten to play D&D ever. And he had wanted to when he was a kid back in the 80s, and he just got turned away. This guy dove into this D&D game. He was using it. He was taking pictures. He was writing down notes. He was interacting with it. Player, hell, the guy was practically a co-DM. And it was so awesome to see him have that moment. So if you set up a game and you got a few people playing and somebody comes over and they're just kind of looking around, invite them to sit down, even if it's only for 10 or 15, 20, 30 minutes. That's right, Daniel Rowan. All right. So we're going to have a little fun here. I threw out an invite and we're going to bring somebody on. You guys know him. He plays in the Wednesday night game. This is the guy who runs Faldorinth. He is currently sitting out in the audience. Everybody say hello to Great Old Ones. Good evening, sir. How are you?
I am all right. Is this mic coming through all right?
You are 5 by 5.
Ooh, I didn't think I grew that much of waist size. All right.
How you doing?
I am doing well.
Good. I just saw you sitting out there and thought I'd invite you up on stage to shoot the shit with us here this evening.
I'm totally appropriately dressed for video. Yes.
Shit shot. Excellent. Alan Canning, good to see you out there. So yeah, we had a question about Rollmaster, and I mean, when it comes right down to brass tacks, of course, you must absolutely know how much I absolutely, positively, 110% respect Rollmaster. So
of course, yes.
But anyway, no, I always got to do that. Anyway, so yes, priests in MERP. So you could bring over, I guess there's cleric likes in Rollmaster. It's been 30 years since I played Rollmaster. So
yeah, it's been a while since I played it too. Actually, Gonzalo will be the better one because he's actively playing the game. But it's something I've been interested in a long time. Yeah, there's a priest of sort. It kind of breaks up the idea between priests and healers. Instead of being the one class, you kind of break them into a couple of separate ones. And it was the comment was in relationship to MERP. Now it's been even longer since I've played MERP, and I put a comment in there. Basically, MERP is kind of like a stripped down version of Rollmaster,
right?
To fit with Tolkien's world.
Yeah, and that I always thought that was like real interesting. Like, do you remember seeing in the like in the Rollmaster? And I am 100% sure it was in the MERP books because I remember seeing these notes in the Moria supplement for MERP, where they were like, they didn't even name Dungeons and Dragons. They just said, if you're using a system where characteristics are figured 3 to 18, do this.
Yep, we give you a conversion chart and stuff like that for it. Yeah, no, I love Moria. I own a copy of that, of course. Every self-respecting Lord of the Rings fan should own a copy of that book just for inspiration.
Absolutely. I love the fact that they mentioned, like, this is like saying in AD&D, like, hey, in a fortress on the 666th plane of the abyss, if you want to go down there and tussle with Grazd or whoever holds sway down there, they have this much treasure. But this is just about verbatim in Moria per MERP. The Balrog has a throne. I don't remember the properties of the throne itself, but it is perched on a mound of like, I don't remember how many thousands of dwarven skulls that had been dipped in molten mithril. But
he had a source for both.
You'd have to go all the way to basically, again, it's like saying, hey, on the 666 plane of the abyss in AD&D, there's this. It's not like the characters are ever going to go like, yeah, we kicked the Balrog's ass and then we found 10,000 dwarf skulls that have been dipped in mithril, so we're set. I love it when they do things like that. To me, that's like, do you ever play Doom? Like the classic Doom?
Yes.
Yeah. Doom 2, if you do, like back in the day, back in the 90s, I didn't even know there were no clip cheats and stuff like that. So when somebody finally told me that you could clip behind the icon of sin and there's Romero's head on a stake, like that just blew my mind. I was like, oh my God. That's kind of what that's like.
The kind of Easter eggs kind of thing you put in there. No, yeah, they put that in there, knowing full well nobody's really ever going to make it that far. Balrog is far too powerful for most characters, certainly.
Yeah, I mean the Balrog is basically anti-Gandalf, and he's.
Well, if you read the books, it's kind of like he got really lucky to beat the Balrog as much as anything because of the level of power.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the Balrog was fleeing from him, which is why he got to Xerac Zegal when he did, the uttermost peak when the Balrog leapt out. The Balrog, I think, when he was, is it Gandalf referred to him as he became a thing of slime that clutched at me. Or grappled me. But the Balrog fled from him and ran up. But when he got into the sun, then he was kind of back. And
he was afraid of what Gandalf was and what he stood for.
Yeah. But I think probably the sunlight, I mean, Gandalf flat out says when he threatens the Balrog is, I have the power of the sun. This ring represents the power of the sun itself, the undying sun. So that
a
lot
of it was helped from the ring that he wore too. Let's see. Odd Scimitar Gaming's got a great question in there.
All right, let's throw this up on the screen. So you're running a game of OD&D set. I've done it before.
And yes, Miles Big, yes. Miles is an understatement.
Basically do a wilderness map and then just say there's caves over it. I'm not kidding. It is not a dungeon. The Moria is an overland map in a cave. That's how big of a space we're talking about. Moria had multiple boroughs in it, not Burrows, but boroughs, like a borough of a city.
Right. It's a huge underground city for the dwarves, and we need to treat it as such. Yeah. It's not really a dungeon. It's a big, huge city adventure that's just now full of orcs and other nameless things that gnaw at the roots of the earth. Yeah.
Yes, very much so. And I love that nod to creepy horror that Tolkien put in there. And the fact that Gandalf openly admitted to the three of them, to Gimli, Legolas, and Aragorn, that there are things that exist in the world that maybe not even Eru is fully cognizant of just how bad they are. That just kind of gives me a thrill. I just love that.
Well, yeah, it's the amount of power that he had given Melkor, Morgoth, to corrupt things, probably created a lot of things that Eru may not have been fully aware of. Absolutely.
Yeah. And this is Tolkien did mention vampires and werewolves. He also mentioned now you can I want your take on this since we're having this conversation. Goo, is this is going to seem like a strange question, but when I follow it up, I think you'll understand what I'm saying. I will
not role play the bard for your little.
Damn it. I gotta send a letdown
Rephrase that
email.
question. Yeah.
I gotta send a letdown email to Doomsword then. Um, and then Crinit says, great old ones. Crinit says, no. Do you consider The Hobbit fully 100% canon? And here's why I ask. Bilbo talks about going to the fighting the werewolves of the endless desert. Now he's referring, when he says worms, as dragons,
Right. Not
so do you think that
out of the ground for fishing? Yeah.
that do you think that is a thing? Do you think that's Bilbo just citing a piece of doggerel, or do you think that's just a non-canonical thing that Tolkien did not prune out of the book? What is your take on it?
Well, it could be like anything else. It could be just a legend, based on something that may have actually been real, and then the legend just grow and stuff over time and in the telling. That could be a possibility. But he based a lot of his later stuff on the story he told in The Hobbit, and just like any other author, he tweaked and changed and things that went along. So yeah, they're canon, but maybe not in the form as exactly described by Bilbo. It's a legend that kind of grew out of.
Sure. And I mean, what comes down to the hobbits in the end, knowledge wise? I mean, they're basically off in fantasy West Midlands at that point. So what they hear from things that are further east than the ruins of Gondolin is probably not there's gonna be a lot of Chinese telephone that's gone on there.
Yes.
But this is a great comment here. Golf was canonical, so why not? Golf was canonical.
Yes.
But anyway, so
Bull took.
Yeah, Bull Roar took. That's right. And you had the fell winter when the wargs came across the ice in the north. Mm-hmm. But hey, I mean, any other questions out there while we got a guy who probably knows MERP and Rollmaster better than I do? I looked for Gonzalo. I looked for him online. He's not
Gonzalo is fantastic for this. That's his. Rollmaster is his thing. He plays at a regular Rollmaster game. It's his forte, and I'm running off of a little bit of a memory. And him and I, most of when we're talking about what we're talking about is hashing it all back out again, bringing back all those memories. Because right. Get old, you start to lose that stuff unless you recycle it.
What is your YouTube channel? Because you guys have been doing live streams over there. And,
yes. Great old ones channel, no spaces.
All right, so I'm gonna put that up on screen. You guys need to go and throw a subscribe to Great Old.
All one word all the way across. Yes, I do. I write my channel name just like I do my passwords.
Well, there you go. So you guys need to go and subscribe and check out his channel so you can catch him and Gonzalo talking about. Now I tease Rollmaster, but I mean I get it's one of the foundationals. Like you could say AD&D is the Commodore 64 of classic TTRPGs, but I will heartily give Rollmaster the place of, say, the TRS-80 series. Not because it's trash. It's not one of the. So I'm just going to shut that down right now before anybody says that.
I'm glad you clarified that a little bit, right?
But I mean, were you a computer guy back in the 80s, Goop?
Yes. Computer guy, well, yeah. So, I had the Atari 400, and we were keying stuff in by hand out of
absolutely issues of compute, baby. Am I right?
Yeah.
Issues of compute. Flip open. Oh my God! Why go spend money on software when you can buy a magazine for $1.99?
Yep.
And type in a game or type in a utility, type in a bulletin board program, type in a drawing utility, all that cool stuff.
And then figure out why it doesn't run because you miskeyed one letter or something on line 13.
Or worse, you didn't. And there was a bug in that issue.
Oh.
and it might not get corrected for an issue or two. I have a story about that. I have oh, Alan, I'm gonna asterisk that and come back to it. Good
And
question.
there was one a little further up from, who was it here?
Was it Odd asking
Odd
about
Gaming, right? Yeah. Other than
Yeah.
Orcs, Goblins, and Balrogs, we'll talk about those too.
Sure, we'll come back to those in a second because I want to wax about computer nostalgia for a second, but Orson Scott Card, that guy, used to write for Ahoy, which was a Commodore only computer mag, and I got so excited one day. I loved fantasy text adventures. They were just about the only way I could really scratch a D&D itch. And I remember he put one in an issue of Ahoy that he wrote called The Emerald Elephant. And I read the description. And I was so hyped. I got that issue home. I spent hours keying that thing in because I hadn't taken typing classes yet. So it was two fingers,
Hunt and peck. Yeah.
Hunt and peck and hunt and peck. And I ran it and just it wouldn't work. It wouldn't work. I spent the longest. I kept going through my code and I was absolutely convinced I had put something in wrong, that I just couldn't. I wasn't smart enough to realize what I'd done wrong. And I was kind of disappointed and I gave up on it and just went on to other things. That popped off like a firework in my memory one day. And so I Googled that damn thing. I find like a PDF archive of all issues of Ahoy, and I just start reading them for the nostalgia of the articles and stuff like that. 2 months later, they issued the bug fix lines.
Oh, wonderful.
And I never got that issue. But anyway, but no, the reason I would give Rollmaster the TRS, the Tandy label is people don't know this. You know this and I know this, but there's probably some people out there who don't know this. Guys, Tandy held down a corner of the computing market for about 20 years. Okay, that's no joke. When the Tandy 1000 came out, it's like you go and you could get a computer game or an application and it would say compatible with IBM PC Junior, IBM Tandy 1000.
Yeah, the 1000
like you would look
computer that I actually bought with my own money.
Yeah, you could use that. That is a standard. So it was not a joke. It was not a joke PC. There were lots of PC. The Spectra Video keyboard for the Atari 2600, that was a joke. The Mattel Aquarius, that was a joke. But no, not Tandy. Anyway, let's get back and answer a couple of questions here. Thank you for
Atari Gaming's question there. Other than Orcs, Goblins, and Balrogs, let's try that one first. That would be easy.
All right, we'll start with that one. Other than
the quick answer to that one is anything, really, because the way they Gandalf described nameless things that gnaw at the roots of the earth. You could whip open the monster manual and pick any number of those monsters out of there, and they would fit.
Beholders, mind flayers.
Yeah.
I mean,
it fits because of the description of there was loose enough to allow you any leeway you wanted to put whatever monster you wanted in that dungeon.
There is some absolutely bad juju down there. I mean, the dwarves woke up the worst of it, but even assuming they hadn't bumped in there, let's just kind of step out of the literal book for a second and assume they're like, you know what? We're not going to, those caves, probably bad. They could have turned right around and smacked into a beholder, mind flayers.
Look at the Watcher in the Water, right? I mean, when that eventually grew up.
Yeah, the Watcher in the Water. Yeah, exactly. And that wasn't like, oh, well, it was just a squid. It was just a freshwater squid. No, it wasn't. That thing was described as having so many tentacles. That thing had more tentacles than an anime convention. But
Yeah, that was an
To be
excellent question there. Yeah.
Yeah, good question. And Alan Canning says, "Have I read the Silmarillion or Sons of Urine, and have I been influenced by Tolkien as a DM player?" How about it, great old ones? How about you?
Yes and yes.
Me, as far as being influenced by the Silmarillion, I did not read the Silmarillion. I did not finish reading the Silmarillion until really not but a a relatively few years ago, probably 8-9 years ago. I finally sat down and read the Silmarillion all the way through. It's not a bad read, guys. People that lie to you and tell you, "Oh, the Silmarillion, the Lord of the Rings is awesome, but the Silmarillion's unread." No, that's not true.
It's not
It's
laid out like the story, like the Lord of the Rings, or
yeah,
it's more. It's kind of like a history book, storybook, history book kind of thing.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
an excellent book. Excellent book.
But it's not some ball breaker of a read.
No, not at all.
In his notes and in Christopher Tolkien's compilation of his notes, they tried to make it accessible. So I would say yes with an asterisk, and that asterisk means CF all Tolkien's previous works. The Silmarillion, yes-ish. I don't think specifically of the Silmarillion when I think of my game planning, but Tolkien's works that included, I try and bolster my storytelling with what I pick up. So I hope that answers your question.
Oh yeah, I mean, and I tweak my game a little bit to match a little bit of Tolkien's world. I've mashed all my orcs and hobgoblins and goblins and all together as basically variations on the one corrupted species of elves, and that's the way I like to run it because it makes a whole lot of sense, makes it easy, makes it fun.
Right on, right on. So this can be kind of a sticky question. I'm going to field this one first, and then I want to hear your take on this.
Okay.
So tracking time in AD&D or really any old school game, how do you do it? If by time you mean segments, rounds, and turns, I mean, it's really simple. You just, I fight, the players fight. That's one round. Little chunks that happened in me fighting or the players fighting, those are segments. A turn is 10 minutes. And if you want to know how long a turn lasts, look at the maximum speed a party can move underground. If they've gone 90 feet, they've gone a turn. Then a turn has gone by. And if it seems like that's an insane amount of time to take to walk 90 feet, think about this. You're in a dungeon. Literally anything, that little bit of shiny bone on the floor, that splinter of wood, that rusty bent piece of metal, any of that can be lethal. The party is taking their time carefully. So that's that. Now, if you mean tracking time in the campaign, there's a couple of schools of thought. There's people that insist that the game has to go 1-to-1 time, that a day of real time equals a day of game time. That's a sticky argument. I'm not going to rehash it here, other than to say when it is convenient, like on my Monday night game, if the party has gone back to their hideout, their camp out, wherever, in between forays into the dungeon, and they say, we're going to rest, we're going to recuperate, we're going to rememorize spells, maybe somebody's going to teleport back to town and deposit our treasure there with a portable hole, and then we come back the next week. Yes, 7 days have gone by. I will email the players in the interim and say, hey, are any of you guys doing anything? Is there anything specific you want your characters to be doing? That, again, 1-to-1 time can get a little sticky, but that is generally how I handle it. And I'm going to be bold. I'm just going to flat out say it. That's how I think everyone should handle it. But how about you, great old ones?
Once you get used to running that kind of stuff, that kind of thing kind of works itself out for you. But while you're getting started, while you're looking around to like how to manage these things, there are a lot of tools out there you can download. People have made turn counter sheets and things like this that you could use to help, especially if you're missing things that are supposed to happen at certain turns and stuff. a nice little piece of paper that you jot notes down as you move through is a good way of tracking when things are supposed to go off. As far as campaign stuff, I basically I buy a personal planner for my campaign, and I'm writing things down. If okay, I want the suit of armor made, you got to come back in a month to get it. I jot down in the planner the day that's supposed to be ready. And as they're moving around through the campaign days and stuff like this, I'll knock them off in the personal planner to kind of keep track of it. Gary Gygax was exactly right that if you don't track time in your game down to the minutia, maybe not the exact second by second, but at least by turns and stuff like this, all the way through the days and months and stuff like this, you're not going to have a meaningful campaign. Nothing's going to make sense.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, that's the essence of it right there. And you've hit it on the head. Kayla follows up. You're fine with time in combat, but in the dungeon, you're often forgetting to say a torch should burn out or roll a wandering monster. How do you remember to do that? Okay, again, look at how fast your party can move and how far they've gone. If the fastest the party can move because of armored or encumbered characters is 90 feet around or whatever. I said turn before I meant round. Just count how far they've gone. Okay. If a torch is going to burn out in 6 turns, just look at your map and count how far they've gone to keep up with where they're going. Something you can do, a little bit of cheat code, a little bit of life hack here. If your party is restricted to using light sources like turns and lanterns, map the dungeon yourself, and on your map, put a little green X, and in your legend, put lights, torches run out here, put a blue X, lanterns run out here, put a red X, a bullseye lantern runs out here for any given direction that they're going, and then count off more and then count off more. Now, if they stop and spend time searching a room, that can get a little bit flexible. Then you kind of got to rely on your own mindset. But remember, searching a 10-foot section of wall takes a round. So if your room comes to a total of 10, if they're like, we're going to search the entire room for secret doors, and it's 10 square feet. Not the room is 10 square feet, but it's 100 square feet. There's a turn, and you can mark a turn off. So hopefully,
I love that when they stand in there arguing stuff for 20 minutes as a group, and then I'm ticking things away.
Yes. When you guys watch me play, by the way, and I probably shouldn't tilt my hand too much, but when you guys see me roll blank dice on the screen, like the group will be talking about something and then a blank die will come up. If it's a D6, I'm not doing that just because I want to make sure the die roller is still working.
No,
I can see what's on it. So, right. So there you go. Make hash marks on a piece of paper and mark where you would make those checks. Any stuff like that. Let's see. Odd asking again. Odd is just full of great questions tonight.
And they're not odd questions at all. They're good questions.
They're very good questions. Could I still include clerics in a Middle-earth campaign? I think you would tend to want to have lower power magic. Like just Joe from the farm is not going to be throwing out lightning bolt. But I mean, as far as a cleric, everyone is a devotee of Heru, unless they're completely bent like goblins, orcs, and what have you. I mean, you could make the argument that Elrond was a very powerful cleric. So yeah, I think you can have clerics in a Middle-earth campaign. Now, one thing I can suggest is if you don't, if it feels a little awkward, if you have access to it, try Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay for a Middle-earth game. It actually works out really well. You were about to say something there, Great Old Ones.
Oh, I've probably forgotten what I was going to say by now.
But clerics in Middle-earth, what do you think?
Yeah,
in a Middle-earth game.
Why not? Exactly. And I believe you're correct there that you wouldn't want them to be similar to the way clerics are, like in D&D, for example. You would want them to be a little less powerful, fit more along the lines of what the other characters that can use magic would be, and why not include them? Right?
Yeah.
It's a fantasy trope. It's a fantasy. You want to play a fantasy game? Add them in. Yeah. If you don't like anything that's in MERP, grab something out of Rollmaster and drag it into it with you.
Yeah. And again, Middle Earth has vampires. You better have somebody who can turn undead.
Well, I believe the Middle Earth vampire is more along the lines of the legend spirit vampire as opposed to Dracula, strolling around, I want to suck your blood kind of thing. But correct.
Could be. Let's see. I want to. JP Got Rockets just kind of following us up there. Good statement. Rohan would be very concerned with ancestors, Ed with his dwarves. Gondor might have a church of Eru, as all the faithful Numenorians were the ones who founded it. It's okay to fill in the blanks that details that Tolkien avoided. And, there's a very good line. And I was so proud of myself because this sparked a lot of positive discussion, not arguments, years ago on you might even still be able to, well, no, because it was email discussion with myself and some others, but it was the One Ring.net, or maybe it wasn't the One Ring, maybe it was another big Tolkien fan site that's still going to this day. And there were people talking about students of Tolkien's writings and so on. And I was rereading The Lord of the Rings when Gandalf reaches out of Frodo's window and grabs Sam and lifts him into the room. Sam starts freaking out and says, I wasn't dropping no eaves. Lore bless me. And it's lore with an apostrophe, so he means D.
Yes.
Lord duh. Sam is invoking the name of God as a little tiny lowercase b blasphemy there. Although in Sam's heart, he was probably doing it as an actual paean to God to not have anything bad happen to him. So the hobbits were absolutely believers. And I discussed this back and forth, and they were like, that is, they said, that is fascinating. That is absolutely, they agreed that yes, the hobbits were probably, now, did they have a church? Did they go and pass the plate? And, oh man, no, probably not. But this is a world where you don't have people walking around saying God is a myth,
No.
There are no atheists in Middle Earth because there are actual angels who have been to heaven and then come back and said, yeah, it's heaven. If you just sail west, just keep sailing west, just keep going and you'll get there, so it's,
that would tend to burn the atheism out of you at that point.
It would tend to, yes. So I feel like that's very much a truism that they did believe. I'm going to throw this question over to you, great old ones. Have you ever run a campaign where you track movements and battles of different factions of armies, such as the annals that Tolkien wrote? Wow, I haven't, but how about you?
Sort of. I've got things that are running in my campaign world that are running for my Monday night group that on a general level, but they haven't reached the levels of where this kind of thing matters to them. So I've got like an overall plan of where things are moving and that kind of stuff. So it's the Schrodinger's army. It'll appear when it's needed to appear. When you open the box, there it is. Yeah. Until then, you don't know if it's there or not. I've got the big plan of the timeline and stuff that are moving. So if they run across it out that way, sure, it's going to be there. Yeah, I haven't reached the point where anybody would actually interact with them at that level, which, like I said, would sort of like the animals that Tolkien wrote. Perfect. I mean, there's his main characters all of a sudden were in the armies, but then again, they were not low-level characters either.
No, and that's That's one of the things that I always love, and people don't really dwell on this too much. The poor hobbits that were grabbed by the orcs and carried off. No. Merry and Pippin were hacking the arms and hands off of orcs. Merry and Pippin were throwing down when the orcs came to kidnap them at the Argonath.
Mm-hmm.
By the time they got back to Hobbiton, there were no better warriors. I would say, and I want your opinion on this, Great Old Ones. By the time Merry and Pippin get back to Hobbiton, we're talking about 5th or 6th level fighters.
Oh, easily.
Yeah, they had the pull to rally the hobbits, and then they basically just kicked the snot out of a bunch of 0 to 1st level half orcs and corrupt men.
I sure did. And they would have been higher level too if Gandalf didn't steer all the experience from killing the Balrog. Yeah.
Exactly. It's silly. By the way, I have to address this. Bob Jester said he thinks hobbits were probably Catholic or Anglican at least. My take is hobbits love to eat too much to be Anglican or Catholic. They were Southern Baptist. That's my take on it.
Ooh, grits and collard greens and fat bags.
You could set a hobbit at a Southern table on Sunday afternoon, and they would be just as snug as a bug in a rug. Now, when 4:00 in the afternoon rolled out and a meal that big, if a little smaller, wasn't served, they'd be a little curious about why not. And then when you got to dinner that night, they would once again be happy. But then at like 9:00 after dinner, they would again be a little thrown by why there's not more. But I definitely think that's true. So Great Old Ones. What's big and new? What's going on with your channel? What are some videos you've got happening out there?
Well, I still plan on doing some more stuff with Gonzalo. We're going to talk more about Rollmaster. There's a lot in there to talk about. We get a whole lot of videos about it. I'm going to run through some of my own stuff. I mean, you refer to Rollmaster's Chartmaster, but I've got an even crunchier game I want to talk about, Phoenix Command. And
wow.
It was written by Leading Edge Games. Oh, I love playing that. It was fantastic. But talk about gritty and charty and just over the top. Yes.
I was afraid for a second you're gonna say Cyborg Commando.
No. If you're familiar with Leading Edge Games and Phoenix Command and their Morningstar missions that they came out with first, and then they built a combat system. As I understand it, they designed everything around ballistic gel data for their game.
Wow.
So it's that detailed. So I'll talk about that. I love Traveler. I'll probably end up talking a little bit about that too. Champions, one of my favorites. Talk about some of those other things, some different influences of game and stuff. But my first and forever love is always going to be first edition AD&D.
Excellent, man. Excellent. It's good to hear it. It's wonderful to hear it.
Talk about some of that. I'll poke a little more at it here or there, read some of the things that are wisdom that comes out of the Dungeon Master's Guide on how to run and games and stuff, and try to reiterate that.
Yeah. And that is so important. And I by the way, everybody, I put the link back over here, Great Old Ones channel. Please give him a sub. But one of the things that I have been reading this book, The Dungeon Master's Guide. I've been reading this book since I was 15. There is not a corner. Don't think of it as a book. Think of it as a city. There is not a corner you can't go around to discover something new and exciting in that book. There is so much good in the AD&D Dungeon Master's Guide, and I promise you, not you, Great Old Ones, but everyone out there, you don't know it all. Okay, there are things in there that you'll go, wait a minute, or you knew it, and then memory unlocks, and you're like, right, okay, yeah, and it will kick off a cascade of things that you had forgotten that you know. So it is it's essential reading. It is undeniably essential reading. I don't just think for AD&D players. I think anybody who wants to learn about good gamesmanship, period. That's just my 2 cents on it. So
it's just, and he even said it's just a reference material, right? There's a whole lot of stuff in there. You don't have to go reinvent the wheel on any of this stuff. Flip around the book, you'll probably find what you were looking for. It's in there somewhere.
Yeah. It is it is the book most often referenced when people say to me, yeah, I haven't played first edition, or even I haven't played any D&D in X number of years, but I absolutely have the first edition AD&D Dungeon Master's Guide, and I use it all the time in my, and then just the cascade of systems that people have told me they use that for. Vampire the Masquerade, even Traveler to a degree, because a chart's a chart. Encounters in a city street are encounters in a city street. Hero system, it doesn't matter if you're building a fantasy world, you're running a fantasy world. That book is essential. Saying I don't need that book is like saying I don't need flour in my kitchen. I don't need a hammer in my house. That book is foundational. But anyway, that is why on Tuesday night, Grimhammer, I'm not going to go through all this, but that is why on Tuesday night all the players will be playing Drow. So I'm just teasing.
Oh, okay. So we're switching again.
Yeah,
we're going to whip out Unearthed Arcana and play the races that are included. No.
Okay. Did you know I'm not letting anyone play anything that's not in the first edition AD&D Player's Handbook? Yes, there's an ultimate YouTube short for you.
Gary Gygax does say monster characters are possible, but they must be appropriately leveled for introduction.
Mm-hmm. How do I feel about the Castles and Crusades game system? Castles and Crusades, I can't knock it too much because I think their hearts were in the right place. But at the end of the day, by the time I flipped the armor class back, gone to the AD&D save system and not using primes, I might as well just be playing AD&D. That's how I feel about Castles and Crusades. Great Old Ones. You want to sing us off stage here with your answer?
I've got a copy of the book, and it's on my stack of things that I need to open up and read one day. That's about all I know of it so far. Yeah.
Well, listen, man. Thank you for responding to the call. The beacons were lit. Rohan answered, and I can't thank you enough for being here. Please help yourself to some baklava and schnapps in the green room, won't you?
Well, we kind of depleted you of that yesterday. Yeah.
Oh, damn it. There's some Captain's wafers and some of that spreadable cheese and the little plastic.
That's what that stuff was. Okay. I got it now. It didn't look suspicious, but it's good. Okay.
There you go. All right. Well, I'll let you get out of here. Thank you very much, everybody. Subscribe to Great Old Ones. Thank you for coming on. Guys, I will be back tomorrow night. We've got some good stuff in store for you then. I want to thank again Great Old Ones for being here. And I want to thank all you guys, big ups, Grimhammer, Stephen Avery for being here for 5 months, and Hawk, Grimhammer and Hawk for the supers. I really do appreciate it. I appreciate all of you guys. Have an absolutely wonderful rest of your Thursday evening. Love you all. Mean it. And it may not have been mentioned in Tolkien, but I can guarantee to you, I'll mention it now. You best watch your asses for the dreaded owl bear. Peace. Good night. Love you all.
Have you seen my owl bear? Here's to all the weirdos everywhere in the woods and in the air. Have you seen my owl bear? Should I shave off all my hair? Bobs are all around, some live in tunnels underground. Some are fat, some are rich, some are sleeping in a ditch. Can you ride a crooked horse without a saddle way off course? Naked as a toad, all the way to Smoky Joe's. Have you seen the little creep driving fast in his little green Jeep? He smells like fish and brandy, but his rotten teeth look dandy. Take me to the show, I don't care if fast or slow. From action flicks to dancing dicks, just take me to the show.